Broadcasting to you from an undisclosed location deep within the Swamplands, this is Tales from the Swamplands, an old swamp-styled radio show curated for your contemporary capacities. I'm Benjamin Gaunt, author, disc jockey, speaker of truths, purveyor of fanciful fallacies, and all-around scholar of our dear metropolis here in the Swamplands. Welcome back, dear listener, for more Tales from the Swamplands. I was hoping you'd come back, settle in to listen to another story of intrigue, terror, or, frankly, slapstick. I knew it weren't a guarantee, but part of me hoped that you'd find your way back to this old broadcast. And if you didn't, well, life can get in the way. Or even, sometimes, a lack of interest. To be honest, I wouldn't blame you. Not because I find the work we do here to be lacking interest, no. I work hard to fill these airwaves with the bizarre, the fascinating, and, if all else fails, slapstick. As I've trekked and paced along the winding roads of life, I've learned one terrible, wonderful truth. When given freedom to do what they will, people will do just that. For better or worse. There's only so many social constructs we can balance before the teeter totters over into soulless control, or complete anarchy. And don't get me wrong, I love freedom. I kind of wish I could be free to speak my truth without, well, getting blackbagged and carried off by some wasp-mounted specters. But I can't. Not as of yet. So it goes. The attempts the Fold have made to end this here broadcast have really shaken our foundation, me and them. I ain't planning on signing up anytime soon, no matter how good their barbecues are. Which is to say, by the way, fairly good, but kind of hoity-toity. You could even say that me and the Fold have had issues with this week's topic. This week's topic is trust. You see, it's hard. I would say that me and the Fold have trust issues, that with a bit of counseling, we could really get to a place of mutual understanding. But something tells me that that ain't the case. In retrospect, I trust the Fold more than most things in life. I trust that if given the chance, they'll end me oh so swiftly. After, of course, interrogating me in all sorts of terrible ways beforehand. The problem lies more with that which we want to trust, but know deep down that we cannot. Or even worse, that which we trust so completely that when it finally betrays that trust, it pains us deeply, and, if not taken care of, thrum with pain for years and years. So, trust is the folly of the woefully dependent, right? And no sane-minded person should stick their neck out like that, all to get wrapped up in some spider's web. Yeah, well, I wish it were that simple. There are some moments where trust did nothing for me, and I wish I could go back and pull myself from the jaws of deception. And there are others, well, suffice it to say that there are moments that I would not change for the world, even though the road to get there was paved with traps, lies, and empty promises. Trust is beautiful, and like so many things in life, it can be tainted, foiled, snuffed out. Trust is often beautiful because it's so rare and so fragile, but it's one of those things in life that makes all of the strife worth it. When there's something consistent and safe and accepting, that's the good stuff. A loved one who you can lean on, knowing they'll be with you no matter what else changes in the maelstrom outside your burrow. A family, a team, heck, a community coming together for something wonderful and beautiful and selfless. Or, and not to get too preachy, even a consistent voice in the darkness. I've listened to my fair share of storytellers whose words have helped me keep kicking to the next one. Sometimes it's only consistency that helps us feel safe from the proverbial rug being pulled out from under us. So if some of these words and tales can offer even a mote of respite to anyone out there in the swamp or beyond, then I'll be a right happy camper. Can you trust that I'll always be here to deliver talks, tales, and the rest? That's where things get tricky. Trust only extends as far as a promise can go, and even promises have their limits. Those of the best of intentions can promise the world to those who trust in them and only bring back a thimble. Why? Well, we want to give and share what we can, when we can, ideally. But those dreams have their limits, and when life gets in the way, they become chipped away, bit by bit. Trust isn't merely a balancing act between the hopeful and the honest, but one buffeted by the winds of chaos. It's important, and sometimes necessary, but very fragile. Mayhaps think on your own about trust. How it served you, pricked you, what have you. And if you need a break from diving deep in the waters of self-reflection, then join me for a trip to the land of advertisements.
Admissions are now open for a new class of students at the University of Losset. See now what the #1 seat of higher education in the Swamplands has to offer. Whether you're enrolling in one of our cutting-edge technomancy programs or want to dabble in one of over 1,000 courses we offer, our Crimson Halls will satiate your thirst for knowledge. And a diploma. Founded over 70 years ago by the scholars of the Old Swamp, our institution has created countless gifted alumni, groundbreaking innovations, and professional recreational sport enthusiasts. Our facilities are state-of-the-art, acclimating your young masters of tomorrow to a world of prosperity and automatic cleaning services. They, too, will learn what wonders their guardian's wealth can accomplish. Hear what our students have to say about dorm life as well as off-campus housing. Ever since I left home, I've realized how lucky I used to have it. 3 meals a day, snacks whenever I wanted, and my own bedroom. Being out in the real world is crazy. You can't understand unless you've experienced it for yourself. I have to trek a block to the mess hall just to get a square meal. I mean, I can go to the vending machine down the hall, and there's always drone delivery if I'm in a pinch or lazy, but I can only order so much per semester. It sucks. So, when I got a scholarship to the U of L, I was really grateful. I knew that dorms were out of the question, but any roof over my head and a chance to study here was enough for me. But I wasn't aware that the roof would be 30 stories down. I can't afford to take the express elevator to campus, and the commuter lifts are often crowded or out of order. But I can always walk. Stairs aren't that bad. And if I'm too tired after class and my 2 part-time jobs, I can always sleep on campus. The library has a number of low-lit halls and roomy bathrooms to change in. I don't know where I was going with all of that. Anyways, I gotta get back on shift. And there you have it. Apply now for a chance to experience what the University of Losset has to offer.
For those keen-eared listeners who've kept track up till now on the schedule of this here program, I have no surprises for you. You know what's coming next. But for anyone who lost track of what week it is, anybody who's got a tenuous grasp on odd and even numbers, or anybody for whom this is their first episode, which, if that's the case, by the way, it's probably best to go back to episode 1 now. I'll wait. You may be surprised to hear what comes next. We return to the fan-favorite adventures of an occasionally successful investigator and his arguably more competent client. This week's tale from the Swamplands is the next installment of Neil Silva, Private Eye.
Strap in, dear listener, for another episode from your favorite intrepid investigator. He roots out the plots of evildoers and rights the wrongs committed daily against the everyday Swamplander.
Life in the Swamplands is hard enough. It gets a lot harder when you're flipping over rocks looking for trouble. I'm Neil Silva, Private Eye. I may not always know what I'm looking for, but boy, can I flip a rock.
Last, we left off with Neil Silva, Private Eye. The good detective had gotten himself into some bad dealings. Blue-bundled buffoons busted up some brokers' bureaus, thereby bearing our brave buddies break in these baffling bouts. Will their by and by become bewitched by brushes with brutes, bribery, and browbeating? Or will Neil's bespoke benefactor get down to brass tacks? Believe it or not, we'll be briefly briefed on such business on this week's Neil Silva, Private Eye.
Thanks again for getting us out of that mess.
Don't mention it. A job's a job. And I didn't see a red cent from those brutes, so it weren't much of a choice.
That's, well, okay. Here you go. Keep the change.
Don't suit me none. I'll never change.
And yet you took off with my change. Figures.
Well, suppose we better get going then.
I suppose so. And by going, you mean to...
City of Losset's 12th Precinct, Waller Street Station.
You're going to the police. Giving up on the case already, Silva? I suppose it's for the best.
You suppose so? Well, a lot of good your supposing does, eh? I'll tell you what I suppose. I suppose I have a few more friends in there than you'd imagine. And if anyone were to know about criminal activity in the city, it'd be them.
That is a lot of supposing, but not unfounded, I suppose.
And that ain't the half of it. Listen to this. I suppose there's got to be a good reason why you haven't stopped in at a station yourself. Mayhaps to report in with the task force or gets a skinny on Merritt's whereabouts. I suppose it's strange that now, as we're more threatened and lost than ever, you look to me for guidance, the lowly tag-along. And, of course, I suppose the reason for all of that and more is...
Classified.
Classified, right. And yet, I keep supposing. And you? What do you suppose about all that?
Well, I suppose that you're more than a hanger-on.
Good supposing.
And furthermore, I suppose that my resources at the moment are somewhat tapped. The task force is more separate from your average police station than you'd expect.
Average? Well, I never. You haven't had a bowl of the station's Luna State chili. It's award-winning.
And you have? Here's what I suppose. You used to be a cop at the station, right? You said you were one just earlier.
Well, I suppose I did.
But no longer. Why is that? And if you have a connect here, why don't you come to them more often for your leads instead of some back alley coffers dive bar?
Hey, the half shell ain't back alley, and it's barely in the coffers. It's nearly coffers adjacent. Well, geez, I guess we both got a lot to suppose then, huh?
Indeed.
All right, final one. I suppose we go in, get the info we need, and get out. Then maybe we can talk a bit more about where we're each coming from. You and your task force. Me and my business here.
I suppose I'd be amenable to that. Within reason.
Good. After everything we've dealt with today, I was hoping it was the season for reason.
Oh, hey, Neil. Hey, buddy, how are ya?
Fantastic, Eugene. I was looking to head upstairs and say hey to some of the gang.
Oh, sure, yeah. But, hey, you haven't introduced me to your friend here.
Oh, right. This is,
Hello, I'm Regina Gray. I work for the city.
Oh, sure, right, yeah. I'm Officer Cartwright, or Eugene, whatever works for you. May I ask, Miss Gray, are you here on city business?
Oh, no, not quite. I'm conducting some business with Mr. Silva here. More personal than professional.
Really? Wow, that's, unexpected. Well, that's fine and all, but to be honest, Neil, I'm not so sure I should just send you up there all willy-nilly. Probably should just ask the captain first if you...
Oh, no, there's no need for that. I'm just stopping by to...
Eugene, if it's all right with you, may I ask you a question?
You already did. But sure, go ahead. Today, a 2-for-1 deal.
I'm curious. Do you usually work at the front desk?
Oftentimes, sure. Mostly.
I was just wondering since, well, to be perfectly frank, you're incredibly well built. You must work out all week to get in such good shape.
Oh, Miss Gray, you're too kind. Not all week. Cheat days are important too. But I do keep in shape, sure. I consider my body to be a temple.
A temple? See, Neil?
Oh, criminy.
Well, I can tell. But do you go out into the field? One look at you and criminals would turn in their balaclavas.
Sure I do, of course. Thing is, I got a bit more going on for me than a good workout regimen and helpful genetics. Running the front desk takes a lot of smarts and a friendly face. Those can often be harder to come by than a muscle-bound enforcer.
Oh, I believe it.
You two are sweet. I'm happy for you, Neil. And you, Miss Gray. Go on. Go say hey to the gang and skedaddle.
What? Wait, no, I mean, we...
Thanks, Eugene. We'll be quick. May criminals gift you with balaclavas and needlepoint, you old softy. Great plan. We got through easy peasy.
It wasn't so much a plan as a conversation. I mean, did you see him? He's positively ripped. The lats on that man. But on that note, I didn't know we had a need to get through anything. I thought you knew your way in here.
I do. But my access as of late has been, how do you put it?
Limited?
Revoked. Hey, we're here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a given. She ain't the type to let it slide. No, if the captain... Hey, actually, yeah, I gotta go. Sure. All right, see you soon.
Hey, Rory. How the heck are ya?
Hey, Silva. Wow, what are you doing here? I thought the captain...
No worries. We talked things over. This is my associate, Miss Regina Gray.
Hello.
Hey there, Miss Gray. Detective Rory Pinota. You're a friend of Neil's?
After a fashion.
All right. Well then, what can I do for you two? Well, you see, Rory, we got a bit of a problem. A blue problem. There are dozens of blue-robed hooligans. All right, Neil. Time to go. Oh, come on, buddy.
We could really use your help. Please.
Neil, it's time to go. I'll see you two out. All right, lead the way. Actually, I could stand to stretch my legs a bit. Let's take the stairs.
What is it with you detectives and stairs?
They're a good excuse for exercise, and they give you time to think. Oh, gum. No more smoking, huh? Trying to quit. It's hard to kick a habit. Speaking of, what do you want, Neil? Well, as I was saying... Yeah, the blue fellas. What's that got to do with you? Well, not so much me as,
Me. Well, they're related to my interests.
Is that so? How'd you end up with such specific interests, if I may ask? Well, you see, she's part of
A friend. I have a friend who's likely involved. I was on my way to speak with a mutual contact of ours when I ran into some of those goons. Neil happened to be there at the time, and he helped me deal with them.
Is that true, Neil? Yep. That about covers it. All right, then. Sounds like they're a right mess. Your friend's in a heap of trouble. Oh, jeez, Neil. I shouldn't be messing around here. I can't be helping you after... I know. And the captain, well, she'll... I understand, Rory. I need your help. Please. Anything you can tell us would make a world of difference. And I'll ask just this once. One time and I'll be out of your hair for good, I promise. Oh, jeez, Neil. Fine. But you better keep this under wraps. I'm pretty fresh off working in the evidence room. I thought that they were gonna bury me in there. It's a right sepulcher. I know, Rory. I'm sorry for that. I know you are, buddy. All right, you two. Gather round. So, this group. What do you know about them? Blue robes? Bad manners?
They've been running some shady business throughout the coffers. And yet they're related to the fold somehow.
And they don't like us poking our noses in their business. Not bad. Seems like you still got some of that spark, Silva. Well, I mean, Gina's been a huge help. Massive, really. Completely. Good to hear. Well, here's the thing. We stopped bringing in these goons for all sorts of shenanigans, right? Various stuff, some weird stuff. And yeah, we noticed some of them's got those fold marks, right? Well, a couple of us start asking questions. Next thing you know, the captain's telling us to back off. Really? You don't think that she's... Nah, nothing like that. We're still bringing in the weirdos, but there ain't no investigation beyond that. Captain says our hands are tied because the fold. She says the whole thing's,
Internal.
Exactly. Geez, you're smart, huh? What are you doing hanging around with this guy? All right. Just playing, Silva. Where was I? Oh, right. It's probably internal. So, what's that mean? It's a splinter group. They've gone rogue. That's what I thought. Some of the fold's gone and went off the rails, right? Why? Dunno. So I started to look into it myself. I was able to get a lot of legwork done on this whole thing till the captain found out.
Oh. What happened then?
Well, let's say I had a final warning on the matter. No more investigating the root of the gang till we got word from the fold that we could clean up. Else...
Back to the evidence room?
Worse. When you push too far and disobey the captain's direct orders, well, they got a term for it now.
And that is?
It's called pulling a Silva. Look, we won't bother any more than needed, all right? A name, a location, anything you could give us would be a heap of help. And I know if you could, you'd be right there alongside us. Yeah? And why's that? Because you're a good man, Rory. And a good cop. And you care. Sometimes too much. I'm sorry about before. We were supposed to be partners, and I let you down. But I think we can help out here. Please, give us this, and we'll get a lot more done than you can right now. And if things go like gangbusters and we think we got a good lead on them, I'll let you know. And if not, you don't have to hear from me again. I'll butt out and stay out. I promise. Oh, geez, Silva. You don't gotta go a martyr over a case. Either way, you stay in touch, okay? Sure.
But not here, you beetle brain. Come over sometime, have dinner with Kara and the kids.
If that's okay with you.
No, it'd be terrible. Beetle brain.
You're all right with helping us? What if the captain finds out?
I'm not too worried. You could have looked into it all on your own. In theory, anyways. Just don't rat on me and we're good.
Noted. And you ain't worried about the danger of it all? Sending 2 civilians out to track down a veritable cult?
Why, I ain't sending out nobody. Besides, you're gonna keep digging whether or not I help. This way you know what you're getting yourself into.
Thanks for that.
Don't mention it. Seriously, don't. Not to nobody. Alright. Go to the diving beetle. Tell him Horatio sent you. Then watch the service elevator on the back wall. They got shipments going down all day and night.
What do you think they got going on down there?
Well, looks to me like a lot of tech. 4-foot wide crates stacked up on pallets.
Possibly bug ships?
It's about the right size, yeah. Who knows, though? Only one way to find out.
How many goons are we looking at?
Matching robes, hired help, decoys. Hard to say. I wouldn't go in guns a-blazing myself. It's gonna need some real subtle recon, nothing more.
Thanks, Rory. We'd be nowhere without you.
Don't I know it? I'm starting to regret it, but there ain't nothing to be done about that now. Just be smart and make it back in one piece, got it?
Will do.
Oh, you'll be fine. Just keep him in check, got it? He's a big lug.
All right, Rory.
I'm joshing. It's good to see you, Neil. Even under the circumstances.
Likewise. We'll let you know what we find.
You do that, Neil Silva. Now, Amscray, I gotta get back before anyone smells the dung we're cooking up in here. Adios.
Gross.
Yeah, Rory's truly got away with words. Anywho, let's get out of here. I almost feel like a legitimate copper again, and it rankles me.
Oh? What's so bad about working within a legitimate organization?
Well, nothing. Other than the rules and the guidelines and red tape. Some of it's helpful, sure, but most is,
Meant to be broken?
No, it's just... I never meshed well with the department. Their sense of duty and mine were at odds too often. I'd have a hot lead to follow and they'd say no. Bigger picture, diplomatic ecosystems, small fish. They wanted things to stay the same way that they were, stable. And I wanted something...
Better?
Exactly.
So you set off on your own to make things right. Your way.
Well, I got Silva'd out first. Then I went my own way.
So probably wasn't a good idea to come here after all, was it?
We got a lead, didn't we? A huge one.
But if the captain found out you'd been skulking about...
Hey, does this look like skulking to you?
Well, yeah. Yes, it does.
All right, granted. But it was important skulking. For who again? By the way, that was some quick thinking back there. We're tracking a friend. Good cover.
Actually, Neil, I've been meaning
Imagine if you had a friend with the goons this whole time. That'd be some real stage and screen shenanigans, huh?
You'd think so, but in actuality,
And if you weren't part of the task force and instead just a concerned friend, then all this cloak and dagger stuff would seem a lot sillier.
It would, wouldn't it?
You aren't part of a task force.
No, not quite. No.
Of course. It was in front of me all along. Not working with the cops more directly, no stun gun. Your business getup makes you look like an office worker.
I am an office worker.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just, why are you sticking your neck out for this friend? You heard Rory. They got themselves into a real mess of trouble.
Undoubtedly.
And no offense, but you've been around the block a lot less than the cubicle.
Hey, I've been in my fair share of trouble too, I'll have you know.
I'm sorry. I'm sure you have. It's just, this is some high-tier trouble. Some real top-of-the-line express elevator, premium skycab trouble. You feel me?
I understand. I can handle myself, thanks. Just trust me, okay?
What a mantra that is.
Seriously, I can handle myself. I know the risks. If it wasn't so important and I couldn't deal, I wouldn't. Agreed?
In theory.
Do you trust me?
Do I trust a woman I just met earlier today who's already fibbed to me multiple times with having hers and my back covered in what could be an incredibly dangerous investigation into a splinter cult of a major governmental agency?
When you put it that way, it sounds kinda...
I want to. Yeah, I do. As much as I can. Does that make me a dunce?
I don't think so. You just want to help.
Right. That's my duty, getting me in trouble again.
You can back out now if you
And
want.
leave you here to have all the fun without me? No way. Let's get these suckers.
Oh, hey, you two. How'd it go?
Well enough. Thanks again, Eugene.
Oh, no problem, Silva. Oh, there's just, one more thing. Sorry.
Sorry? What are you sorry about?
About this. Silva, what are you doing in my station?
Captain McCallan! Nothing, actually. We were just leaving.
And who's this? Regina Gray, ma'am. This is a wrinkle. Silva, what are you doing with this nice young lady?
Nothing whatsoever. She's a friend of mine.
It don't say. You could do better.
Excuse me?
Excuse me? Not you, Silva, her. Apologies for him. He's a bit of a louse. No apologies needed. Neil's actually very well-mannered and has a good head on his shoulders. You don't say. Officer Cartwright,
Yes, Cap?
have they made chips to reprogram humans as of yet?
No, Captain. No, I don't think so.
Astonishing. Must be a different Silva that's gone and waltzed into my station then. Oh well. Silva, would you mind delivering the other Neil Silva a message from me?
Sure.
Let him know that if he ever steps foot into my station without a damn good reason, I'll rip his little schoolhouse detective agency out from under him faster than he can say, "Fine for practicing without a license." You catch that?
Yes, ma'am.
You need to write that down?
No, I think I'll get the picture.
Let's see that he does. You two have a wonderful day. Officer Cartwright?
Ma'am? Oh, Neil, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all right. You were just doing your...
She's so perceptive. She's literally a police captain, for crying out loud. And a good one at that.
Don't I know it? I'm gonna get out of here while I still have my head attached.
Roger that. See you around. It was nice to meet you, Miss Gray. You have a good one, too.
Thanks, Eugene. Good luck on the fitness regimen.
It's all hard work, ma'am. I'll leave the luck to the field officers. Have a good one.
Sorry about that mess.
You're sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have risked us in there.
But if you hadn't, we'd be lost, right? And now we've got a lead. A good one.
Sure. I just hope I'm making the right move here.
I think you are. If it means anything.
It means something. All right. Threats be damned. We're gonna get to the bottom of this, or my name ain't Neil Silva, Private Eye.
But it's not, right?
Wait, what do you mean?
I mean, when you say that, you act like your full name is Neil Silva, Private Eye.
Well, of course it ain't.
Well, with the way you say it all the time, you could have fooled me.
Oh, and your name is Regina Gray of the office of Senator Alan Dermott?
Yes, actually.
Really? No! What's going down at the Diving Beetle? What's up with Gina and her friend? And what'll Neil do if this lead doesn't pan out for him? Find out these answers, though hopefully not the last one, next time on Neil Silva, Private Eye.
That reminded me of someone. The unraveling and spooling of the self-laid bear. Well, not totally bare. There's still more to learn in the world of our Darren duo. Some truth, some mystery. Still, even a bit of honesty can go a long way. It's nice to see trust, warts and all. Trust feels right. Sometimes too right. It's like both the natural state of things, but also so against the landslide of desperation that can dominate our existence. So, what do? Should we open ourselves up to the turbulence and hope that it'll all work out? Or do we shudder up in our shells and never let even a sliver of light cross our sanctum? I know this may sound hypocritical given my current situation, but I'd say neither. Mine is a station born of necessity, not want. If given the chance, I hope I could find the bravery to choose the third option. Balance. Not everyone and everything will be worth trusting, no. Some creatures hold their survival above all else and won't hesitate to spin you around if it means a chance at saving their own skin. But there are others who see the world for what it can be, rather than the worst of what it is. Those eager, albeit cautious arms stretch out into the void, waiting for others to grab on and join them. It's the hope of life, of nature, and in many ways, humanity. Technology brings us so much, but those that reap the benefits of our separation and exclusion of one another have found other uses for it. Division, misinformation, redirection, distance, bubbles of communication. Our fight for trust has put us in the path of those dark watchers whose purpose is to curdle that trust and play finger paints with our convictions. And you can't trust everything, sure. But no matter what those phantoms say, remember, trust has its place. And with it, we can conquer nearly anything. Together. I think it's time for me to start remembering what that feels like. I can't trust that I won't have the fold breathing down my neck the whole way, but I can trust that a life without trying is worth a lot less than one wasted hold away forever. I hope, in your own way, you remember to do the same, if only a bit. May you make your tale what you wish it to be. This is Benjamin Gaunt, signing off. Good night.
Tales from the Swamplands was written, produced, and, well, pretty much anything else by me, Sam McGrath. Music was written and performed by Morphalia. You can check out their music on Spotify or any updates on most social media platforms at Morphalia. That's Morphalia. For any other updates to the Swamplands, you can follow me on most social media at the Swamplands or at talesfromtheswamplands.com. Thanks for listening.